of follow that format. So we start with like the turnaround. So now this next part is what I'm kind of thinking of when I say rhythmic punctuation. Again, this is another kind of thing I got from Charlie Christian. So we come up the turnaround, and we're on an A or A7, our harmony, and we're just playing an A, just the root on the 7th fret of the 4th string. But here it was all about rhythm. So for something like this, I'm probably just thinking of that I got it from Charlie Christian. So you can't help but think of a kind of big band sounds and all that. So although I'm playing one note, I'm really feeling the kind of energy of, a brass section kind of blasting that out. Let's see. So it's very simple, little kind of statement question. But it's all about really getting that swing from the... So much that you can do with just one note, just to put something across if it's got the right energy and sort of how you present it. So we do that to very typical hammer from the 5th to the 6th fret on the 3rd string, and then 5th fret, 7th fret on the B string. And now I kind of answer that low A. Sorry, not low A, but the lower A than what we're playing now on the 7th fret of the A string with an answer on the 5th fret of the 1st string, the A, and also A. Slightly different rhythm. So it's the same note, different octave, and just playing the one note, but it's one is a kind of an answer to the first, and I personally think just how you express those notes, you don't need any more. Now we're reaching bar 4, so it's just before we're going to move to the 4 chord. So now this is where we'll bring in the dominant 9th idea. So just before we sort of look at that, just so we can see actually what it is. So if we look at these, the 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings, just our A major. So here we have the root, the 3rd and the 5th. And then on the 1st string, 5th fret, the root again. So the dominant 9th will be built up from the root, the 3rd, the 5th, the flat 7, which we just look at from our blues scale. We imagine our blues scale, but rather we'll just play the 6th fret note of our A major. And then there's our octave, our 5th, our root again. But rather we're going to play the 7th fret of the 1st string, the 9th. And now because we've got this 7th, the flat 7th note, the whole thing has a dominant 9th sound. So we look at that like... But what's nice about this kind of sound is that we can, rather than use this position, so we're keeping the 7th fret of the 4th string, the 6th fret of the 3rd string, we'll keep them, but we'll change our fingering rather than like that. Now we'll use the 2nd finger on the 4th string, the 7th fret, 1st finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string. Now our E, the 5th of the chord, which was previously here, we'll play at the 9th fret of the 3rd string. Our 3rd finger, and then 8th fret of the 2nd string with our 2nd finger, 7th fret of the 1st string with our 1st finger, and those can all be followed through with all downstrokes. I'd probably pick down, up, and down, down, down. So the just repeat the last two notes. 8th fret the second string, 7th fret the first string again, which takes us into our change. So again, there's our A major, just looking at this dominant 9th idea. So just like that, just as an A major, if we just play that note on the 7th fret of the first string, because we don't have the dominant 7th notes in there, that's just an A add 9. If we were to play it using these fingerings, which is 7th fret, 4th string, 6th fret, 3rd string, my little finger's on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, and 3rd finger on the 7th fret, 1st string. That's a typical dominant 9th shape. In fact, that shape, we play that in E. So that's a 2nd fret, 4th string, 1st fret, 3rd string, 3rd fret, 2nd string, 2nd fret, 1st string. Let's see. So I think that's something like 8-track, isn't it, by Brian Setzer? And he's just moving that shape up a semitone just for that tension and bring it back down. But anyway, in the key of A, like wedding. So this is our. It's good to use this because it's using some of these more, notes like the 9 to lead us to the 4 chord. So it's a bit, a little bit spicier. That gives it that kind of a little bit more jazzy. So we move to the 4 chord. So here, all we're going to play is notes from a D or a D7, D dominant 7, or D9. We look at this kind of D shape. Here's our root, the root of the, the 5th of the chord, the A. And the 5th fret, the 1st string, 7th fret, the 2nd string, the F sharp is the 3rd of our chord. 7th fret of the 3rd string is the D, the root of our chord, so those 3 strings. So we're just D major. So again, remember, wherever you find a note and you want to consider that a kind of a root, so there's our D, you move that down 2 half steps. There's our flat 7, and you can play that just individually. Always move them down chromatically. So we're just playing 5th fret, 1st string, 7th fret, 2nd string, the 7th, 6th, 5th of the 3rd string. So they're just nothing special, just notes from a D7. But again, it's the kind of how you play it. The coming from the it just gives it a nice little different flavour. Now the second part of the D, let's think we're going. So 4th fret of the 3rd string, 7th fret of the 4th string, and 4th fret of the 4th string, and 5th fret of the 5th string, and 4th fret slide to the 3rd fret on the 5th string. Now this last part, we've done the. Now we'll move into the 4th fret, as we just seen. That played that way might seem, something like you think, well, what is that? But it's just this typical. It's just played in reverse. We're just starting on this note, the 4th fret, the 3rd string, rather than, and because it's coming from the lick before that, and we come from the 7th, 6th, 5th fret, which are sort of moving chromatically, and then our 4th fret. So we've got these 4 notes chromatically at the end of the day. So it doesn't sound as typical as, but moving that backwards and from this little chromatic run. But there's absolutely nothing sort of special about that. It's just, again, the rhythm of the notes, the kind of choice, the the phrasing and you know, even sometimes just like that, just adding a slide. And just kind of change the feeling of a lick. So next then we move into a dominant 9 kind of idea again.